Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a recent discovery of mine. Probably not new to you guys, but she is probably my new favorite YA author, and I'm obsessed with everything she's written so far. You're gonna be hearing me talk about her a lot from now on, and that is Stephanie Garber, who is the author of the Caraval series and Once Upon a Broken Heart. And today's video is going to be talking specifically on the Caraval series. I wanted to dedicate videos to her and just give like plot summaries. So if you are interested in reading about her or don't really care to read the series but kind of just want to know what's going on, that's what this video is for. So if you are down to talk a little bit about each of these books, get into some spoilers, then stick around. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So I will start by saying that I read this series not in order, I guess. I read the first book, Caraval, finished the book. Then I jumped and I read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After. Then I read Legendary and Finale. So you technically don't have to read this series to read the other series by Stephanie Garber, but I felt like there were spoilers when I went back to read Legendary because I already knew about a character, and so it was kind of fun reading back and being like, oh my god, he's here, like, you know, some things were exciting for me because I loved the characters in Once Upon a Broken Heart, and they are in this series. So just a little heads up, if you don't know what series to start or what order to read them in, you don't necessarily have to read them. You don't have to read the Caraval series to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I recommend it, and I recommend reading this series first and then reading those books. We're gonna start with Caraval. Just like a heads up, there is no way for me to talk about an entire series of books without really getting into spoilers. So essentially the Caraval series is around this game which is called Caraval. It is a magical game that takes place randomly at different places in different at different times, and it's like a week-long game. The game master, his name is Legend, and he is essentially a very powerful magical being who is able to create this world for this game, and it will take place in like an entire town. It's like very revered, very like secretive. No one really knows much about Legend, but our two protagonists, Scarlet and Donatella, they are sisters, and they have heard about this game growing up, and the main sister, Scarlet, in this book, she really wants to be a part of this game or go to a Caraval game and see it for herself. So she's been writing letters to Legend, or to whoever reads letters for Caraval, and trying to essentially get a ticket. Their father is very powerful and very abusive. Their mother ran away when they were young, and so it's just them two trying to stick together and brave living in this place with their dad. So they run off to go to this Caraval game, and things progress. They learn a lot about what the game really is, how it works, and that it's not really just a game. It's it can look very like lifelike, and it can kind of put your mind for a loop. So this book is in single POV. It's going to be in Scarlet's main point of view. What's really cool about this entire series, they have things like handwritten letters. There are several pages of letters that go on here, which is really cool, in different handwriting. You have breaks in time, so you know this is night 1 of Caraval, so there's like different nights, and again there's time breaks or gaps, I guess. I really enjoyed that about this book series. I love how interactive it is. I love how magical the writing is probably my favorite thing about Stephanie Garber is her writing style, and you really get immersed in this game. This is YA, so you will not be getting a ton of spice. Like I said, there is romance, so you're not gonna get any of that. You're just gonna get magic. You're gonna get adventure. You're gonna get some sort of mystery and a lot of sisterly love. It's really good. I think I gave this book, or this series, I would give a 5 stars to. There's so many things about the game in Caraval that was really well thought up by the author. I thought it was just really original. I've never seen a book like this before, or like a game world like this. So props to Stephanie for doing that for us readers. So that's essentially the main plot of this entire series. We have the 2 sisters, we have the game, we have the legend, and their lives essentially. So now we're gonna get into spoilers like from here on out, because again, I can't talk about the other books without kind of getting into spoilers. So the way this book ended was really cool. I love the plot twist at the end. And I think that it really sets itself up well for book 2, and the switch in POV, like we go from Scarlet to Donatella, and it also makes you want to learn more or see more games, see more Caraval games, because like I said, it's sporadic, doesn't happen all the time, and it seems like this is the last Caraval game, but it just keeps going. So that was something that I really enjoyed about book 1, was the not necessarily cliffhanger, but the plot twist that allowed room for book 2 and 3 to be written, if that makes sense. Legend is a mystery. Like I said, he is like the game master. He has power. No one really knows anything about him. No one knows who he really is, how he got his power. It's all a mystery. And we don't know if we've met him or not in this book. Like, there are people that are in the game who, like I said, there's performers, but we don't really know. Are they lying? Are they keeping secrets and not telling us who Legend really is? So love the mystery and the intrigue in this. Then we get into Legendary, which is book 2, and it is in Donatella's point of view. I actually made tabs on this one because like I said, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then I read this one. So we get introduced to a new character here. His name is Jax, and he is fantastic for all of the wrong reasons. So we do get another Caraval game in book 2, but we also learn about the Fates. And you will hear about the Fates in book 1 very briefly. But in book 2, we get the Fates in depth. They kind of become personified. You meet them like as like real beings, not just people that are in like cards. I love their abilities. I love how they are so hated, but you still like are fascinated by them, and people still like worship them, even though they have like really bad curses and they do bad things. And that's why they were thrust into these like essentially like a card deck. We get another Caraval game in a new place, a new area, and we get Donatella and her kind of love triangle with several or 2 different characters, or maybe 3 characters, I don't know. And so that's really fun, because in book 1 we do get kind of a romance with Scarlet and one of the performers in the game. So book 2 doesn't really focus on them too much, which is really cool. I didn't think I was gonna like Donatella's character, just because book 1 she seemed really like all over the place and wild and like that crazy sister, and in book 2 you get to understand her a little bit better. So I really enjoyed her. We also find out who Legend really is, and I was shocked. I actually couldn't figure out who Legend was. I had some guesses, but they were wrong, and so I was very pleasantly surprised to find out who he was. I will say that Legendary does end in more of a cliffhanger for me, so it was upsetting at times, it was like pulling me back and forth on like who should Donatella be with. And the second game was really fun because Caraval game has like clues, and these clues lead to a prize at the end. Typically it's like a wish granted or whatever, so we get clues in both games, but in this particular game it's more immersive and you have a chance to try and figure out riddles. So that was really fun for me. I love when there's like riddles and stuff and clues in books, because I'm trying to figure it out myself instead of like waiting for the book to reveal it to me. So I really enjoyed that. And I think Legendary was a 5-star read like in itself. The other two were probably more like 4-star reads, but Legendary, the second book, was just so good. I loved it so much. It kind of, like I said, it gives you all of the angst that you want in like a love triangle, and just unraveling more of the mystery of Caraval and legend and the world itself of Caraval and the kingdoms and stuff. So it was so well written. I can't recommend this series enough. But eventually we get to book 3, and in book 3 all hell breaks loose. It's called Finale. And this book deals with unrequited love. We have sisterly love. We have mother-daughter love. We have the fates being released, wreaking havoc. We have more angst and like pushing back and forth on love with Donatella. And we also have dual POV. So we get both sisters in this book. We get multiple instances where Scarlett is dealing with her own personal issues with her love and her mom, and same with Donatella, her loves, and again her mom, who again in book 1 had run away from them and like left them when they were really young. So they're dealing with a lot of stuff, but we discover a lot about her backstory, and it was a really good ending. I will say, halfway through this book, I was kind of, not necessarily bored, but I felt like some of the descriptions and things kind of lasted a little longer, and I just wanted it to get to the point because I was so like angsty and anxious about what was going to happen with these characters. I was very invested in the love stories between these people, and yeah, so kind of frustrating, but we got there eventually, and it was a great ending. I love how everything worked out, and again, this is YA, so you're not going to get spice in these books. You're just gonna get the perfect amount of romance, I think, for me personally. But if you're into more spice, and great, hats off to ya. But if you're not, this is a great, clean fantasy book series to read. Anyone can read and enjoy it. And I said this before earlier on, but Stephanie Garber's writing is just so magical and just very lyrical. You get a lot of big descriptive words to understand the setting, to understand the feelings of these characters, and the magic system in itself. You get to really immerse yourself in the world of this game and kingdom, what they're dealing with politically, with the fates, and like prophecies, curses, things like that. You get a little bit of everything in this book series, and it really sets itself up nicely for the next book series, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. It's like a spin-off with one of the characters in this series, and it was a lot better than this series, but I still highly recommend reading the Caraval series. There were a lot of great quotes that I tagged. I want to reread it so I can like highlight them and maybe tag some more quotes, because there was just so much. There was so much that I loved about the writing. And if you are looking for a good book series to read during the holidays, I do think that you will enjoy reading the series because of the writing style. It's gonna make you feel like you're in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, right? Where everything kind of comes to life and is right at you, and everything that you read when you were a kid growing up, and like the magic of the towns and the buildings and the shapes of the clothes and the texture and the smells. Like, you get that all in this book series. So definitely recommend for the cooler months, for Christmas coming up. Not that there's anything Christmassy happening, but like, it's just about the setting. It's just about how you feel when you're reading these. So definitely pick these up. Couldn't recommend this series enough. And I am so excited to read more of her books. I will be making a dedicated video to Once Upon a Broken Heart, and it will be longer. So just prepare yourselves, because I'm gonna get into a whole plot summary thing. We're gonna have things set up here, I think. But we're gonna get really into the next book series, because I think it's like my favorite book series of the year. And that's saying a lot, because The Plated Prisoner was like chef's kiss for me. But yeah, that is going to be kind of a quick little summary recap of the Caraval series and my thoughts on it. I gave the series 5 stars, and I highly recommend it to anyone that loves fantasy, magic, a little bit of romance, adventure, just originality in writing, I guess. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. And let me know what your thoughts are if you've read this book series. Did you like it? I know some people have mixed reviews. It didn't really engage them that much, but I'd love to know either way what your thoughts are. So let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye.